Greetings, fellow citizens, and welcome to today's episode of Historic Brawl on Magic Arena. Our commander is Old Rutstein, who is a Golgari commander who cares about the graveyard, so the deck is built all around to have synergies with the graveyard. Couple of important centerpieces, multiple turn 1 mana dorks, so we can ideally play Old Rutstein on turn 2. We have cards that cultivate the graveyard, for example the Undead Butler who mills, and can also return creatures. We have cards that take advantage of the graveyard, for example Skirming Merchants to return a card, or Starving Revenant who draws us card and also gains life and drains life, depending on how many cards are in the graveyard. We have win conditions in this deck in the form of good old Gary. Once you have enough recursion and enough value, you can just play Gary and he's gonna win you the game. Or you just use good old Bolus' Citadel and overwhelm your opponent like that. Yeah, those are the most important parts, and let's see how the deck functions in action. Alright, the first match against Toxrill the Corrosive. Interesting commander. Might be decent against Old Rutstein, but I guess we have to see. I don't face Toxrill too often. Going second, of course, quite bad, as always. Like to go first. Also no turn 1 mana dork, that would have also been quite good. Since we don't have anything better to do, we might as well fetch a forest. Our opponent logging revealed for land cycling. It's always good. Not much to do. Okay, so turn 2, might as well play in Fiend Artisan. Ideally you always want to have a turn 1 mana dog so you can go Old Rutstein turn 2. But that's not always how it's gonna work out, unfortunately. Inherited Envelope, just a mana stone. Play Old Rutstein, hopefully mill a land. Nope. Okay. That's fine as well. Opponent on 4 mana, still a little bit off. Executioner thing doesn't really do much. Orcish Bowmasters, everyone's favorite card, but luckily nerfed. Okay, so what do we do now? You could just Liliana, kill the Bowmaster. Could also just play Sheoldred and not care. Removing any of these twos isn't a high priority, I think, so let's just play Sheoldred and chill out. We're not really in a hurry. And also Toxrill is beginning of each end step. So next turn we need to keep open Infernal Grasp, so we can kill the Toxrill before it gives -1/-1 counters to our team. And what does it? It spawns slugs, right? Slimes, yeah. Something like that. Okay, opponent didn't do anything. Also, I mean, he only has 2 cards in hand, but it is black-blue, so he might have a counter. I'd say counter is relatively likely. Since we have to keep open 2 mana, we have 4 more mana to play with. We could just Fiend Artisan and get something out of our deck. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. Sacrifice the token and see what we can fetch. I'm sure there's something good for 3 mana. I don't know every card. Okay, Reclamation Sage could take out the Mana Rock. Propagator Primordium could fill the graveyard, as could the Undead Butler. Let's take Propagator. It's a clock that just keeps giving ourselves value if our opponent doesn't deal with it. Might as well attack with Sheoldred. Opponent loses 2 life thanks to Sheoldred. Probably going to play Toxrill now, as expected. We're gonna Infernal Grasp in response, so the card isn't actually a problem. And since he's tapped out, can't deal with it and just concedes. Well, our deck didn't really do much other than just, you know, be a black deck with removal and our opponent not, I suppose, drawing the right cards. But yeah, that's game number 1 and win number 1. We are up against Elenda the Duskrose and probably a Vampire Tribal deck. That can be quite strong if Elenda gets out of control. We're going second again, which of course, always nice. Don't have a turn 1 mana dork. Yeah, perfect. This is perfect. I mean, it would be perfect if we went first, but it's about as good as it can get. Turn 1, Delighted Halfling, into turn 2, Old Rutstein. Let's hope our opponent doesn't deal with the Halfling on his turn. Arcane Signet, he's ramping, that's fine. Don't deal with the Halfling, please. Esper Sentinel. Not great, but doesn't do anything this turn. Old Rutstein is going to start our engine. Let's see if our opponent can deal with it. Also quite interesting choice to play Esper Sentinel in a Vampire Tribal deck, but I suppose Esper Sentinel is just a very strong 1-drop you can play in pretty much every white deck. Okay. Faithful Disciple. So it's clearly not a Vampire Tribal deck. Yeah, no clue. No clue what our opponent is playing. Might be some sort of combo-based deck or value deck. Now, we could play Necropotence, but it's not really necessary. We can play the Journal, sacrifice our blood token, draw a card. You also have to keep in mind that the Esper Sentinel will tax us, but we also can just play Sheoldred and not care. I think that's always a good play. Makes it easy. No attacks necessary. Let's see what our opponent does. If he places Commander this turn, might be a problem because we currently don't have an answer. No, Witherbloom would answer it, right? Yeah, okay. We do have an answer, so it doesn't matter. Kills the Sheoldred. That's the reasonable and expected response. Our turn. Gonna play a land. Okay. Now we could play Witherbloom Command, kill the Sentinel, and pay the tax, play the Journal and sacrifice a blood token. That seems good. We're gonna kill the Sentinel and destroy a Mana Rock. The Arcane Signet, to be precise. We're gonna pay the tax. Okay, Outer Tapper didn't screw me because it's actually a legendary artifact. So Halfling taps for black. Alright, Outer Tapper is smarter than I am. Always nice to see. Okay, we don't attack here and end the turn. We're in a very good spot. Opponent seems to be land screwed, so probably gonna be a concession now. That's what I thought. Well, that's magic. You need to draw your lands to play your cards. Our next game is against Arlela, and we're going first. Maybe Fairy Tribal, maybe Enchantment Tribal. Now this is a very interesting hand. We have turn 1 ramp, but we don't have a turn 2 untapped land, which is a problem because I want to play Old Rutstein. Because I'm not lucky, I'm not gonna draw an untapped land on turn 2. I'm gonna mulligan, and it's basically the same deal, but okay, this time I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna go down to 6. I'm just gonna go and hope that the magic gods are merciful and give me an untapped land. The merciful magic gods are actually cruel and unfair, but at least we get to attack for 1. And since we go first, it's still fine. If we don't draw another land next turn, it would have been problematic, but luckily we drew it. Opponent has blue and white open. He might very well just counter the Rutstein with Wash Away or another spell. So we may want to play something else. We can play a Mindwrack Demon. Let's play Starving Revenant, so we can actually ensure our next land drop. Our opponent definitely has some sort of interaction. Let's see what it is. Didn't play my commander here because of Wash Away. Spell starter. Ah, so it's Fairy Tribal and also Counter Tribal. That's Not my favorite matchup. Now we have a chance now to play Old Rutstein. If we mill a creature, we get a blood token that we could then use to maybe hit a land drop. Or, you know, we mill a spell. Not a creature, a spell. Now let's just hope we can discard... yeah, what do we discard? Probably the Mindwrack Demon. Hope we draw land. Didn't draw land. Okay. Pretty bad, but we'll make the best out of it. Opponent plays his commander and also has a Mox Amber. Now we don't currently have a way to deal with Alela, which is terrible, and we also didn't draw land. Okay, Liliana would deal with Alela. Opponent has a flyer and could kill it on the backswing, but I don't really think we have an option. We can't let the opposing commander live, because then we just die. So I think this is the best option. Can't be countered thanks to Delighted Halfling. Hopefully our opponent tries to counter it. Siphon Insight. Okay. Shouldn't be too valuable.
The best thing about zombies is their adoring obedience.
Killing the opponent commander.
Don't you just love the smell of death?
Might as well attack with Rutstein. He's not gonna block and I can't block his ferry anyway. Not drawing a land in so many draws is really bad. Sword of Ice and Fire, also terrible. He's gonna kill the Halfling. He's not gonna kill the Halfling. That's... pretty sure that's wrong. You attack the Planeswalker and kill the Halfling. Especially because I can't draw land for the life of me. Let's see if maybe we have Creature, Planeswalker, and I'm too far behind to play that card. Yeah, we're pretty much screwed here. We can't get back... oh, no, wait. We're gonna get back the Starving Revenant, and surely with another 2 cards, one land, one time. 2 lands, even better. We're gonna get those. Play them, because we actually have to hurry. We're gonna play the Fiend Artisan. So next turn we could potentially activate the Fiend Artisan to find a Chupacabra to deal with the opposing commander if he plays it again. That would be an option. Kindred Discovery. Pretty bad, okay. But it's not the worst thing ever. Can stabilize. Yeah, he kills the Fiend Artisan. Fair enough. But at least it means our mana dog stays alive. Opponent foretells. Probably a Doomscar. Maybe a Doomscar or an... no, it's gonna be an Alrund's Epiphany, I think. Doomscar doesn't make much sense in that deck. Okay, we didn't draw something great. Can't deal with the Fairy. We can't deal with the Kindred Discovery. So we're just gonna play Cavalier Thorns. Ramp it a little more. And now actually have a blocker for the opponent's Kindred Discovery. Okay, here's the play. I don't think this is Doomscar. It might be, it probably is Doomscar, to be honest, because it's... the Foretell card's always the worst card. For you, that is. Or for me. But I think if you want to have a chance, we need to play Embodiment of Agonies to actually pattern the opponent, because we're not gonna win the long game. We missed too many land drops for that. So if he has Doomscar, that would be pretty bad. I mean, Alrund's Epiphany is also pretty bad. Anything's really bad here, right? Oh, behold the multiverse. That doesn't matter at all. That doesn't matter at all. Now all of a sudden it's looking pretty decent. Not good, but pretty decent. Next turn we could Chitinous Crawler. We have a Merchant of Asphodel. We have Gary in the graveyard. That's very nice. Don't know if you have enough mana to play both. We probably don't. Opponent plays his. Okay, opponent doesn't care. It's red and blue. Yeah, okay. Maybe he forgot. I think he just wanted to draw a card, right? Nykthos. Now that's a card. That is a card. That means we can play a Crawler. We can use it to exile Gary. We can then use the Nykthos to pay for Gary. And our opponent concedes! We missed a lot of land drops. Our opponent had a really good start, but we won at the end because this deck's disgusting. Disgustingly good and very fun to play. Yeah, Gary, a very important centerpiece to play around. He often wins you the game, especially if your opponent doesn't deal with your graveyard or your board, and you just get value with your card. Starving Revenant actually allowed us to draw lands after missing 5 land drops in a row and helped us save the game. That was a really good game. Didn't think we'd win this. This time against Saris, or Sarai, Slayer of Fear. A very new card from the Alchemy set. Don't actually know what it does. Seek some cards. Seems pretty decent, to be honest, but if we don't get screwed by our draws, then I don't think it's gonna do too much. Okay, we don't have a turn 1 mana dork. I mean, we do, but we don't have a forest. I'm still gonna keep this, because if I play turn 1 Captivating Crossroads, choose black. Blooming Marsh, huh? Alright, Blooming Marsh. It's fine. Next turn we're gonna play Nurturing Peatland. Dark Ritualing out our Old Rutstein, Lone Rider. Very nice card, I like that a lot. It does seem kind of a waste, to be honest, to Dark Ritual out an Old Rutstein. But believe me, you want this card out as soon as possible. Ah, played Authority of Conscience, by the way, didn't even notice that. That's kinda annoying, but ultimately doesn't really matter. There's a trigger on my turn at the beginning of the end step. Okay, yeah, triggers on my turn as well. If I play too many creatures, the Lone Rider might flip. This is now... yeah, this now enters untapped. We still can't Utopia Sprawl. 3 mana, we can play the Journal. Which is black here. Can play the Journal. Sacrifice our blood token. Draw a card. We are not gonna attack. He gains life anyway, so 1 damage doesn't matter, so I'd rather protect my life total. Okay, opponent places Commander. Main phase, if you gained life this turn, seek a card with the amount of life you gained, okay. I mean, this is card advantage. I'd like for my opponent to not have this. We currently don't have removal other than Vraska, but I think that's more than acceptable here. Play Vraska. Sacrifice the treasure. Turn our opponent commander into a treasure. We're gonna draw a card. Yeah, I think we're gonna draw a card. Sacrificing our token. Doesn't do anything anyway. Don't attack, protect our Vraska. Now the problem is with Vraskaing opposing commanders, they can sacrifice it, float the mana, get the commander back and use that mana to play it again. So it's not great. Rock's Faith Mender, that's a card you don't see very often. Double life gain. And opponent now also has protection. He has 1 mana up and can give something protection. Well, it's starting to get a little bit worrisome and we don't really have any good engine currently online. Okay. He uses this to deal 1 damage. Ah, to flip the rider. Alright. Yeah, that's good enough, I suppose. First, we're gonna draw with Vraska. Let's see what we get. Another land. Okay. Gonna draw with the Journal. Maybe we get something useful. Nope. Another land. Great. You love to see it. You love to see it. Okay, I need to deal with the Rider, because it also gains double life, has lifelink, would kill my Vraska. What I can do is could Grim Tutor. Tutor up a 2 mana removal. Doesn't feel great. Believe me, it does not feel great, but I think it's the right play. Wait, that's not an artifact, right? Okay. For a second I was worried, because it's colorless. But it's actually just an Eldrazi Horror. Okay, I think, yeah, keeping it back to block, this is important, because otherwise he would have gained 1,000,000 life, played his commander, seek the highest mana card he has in his deck.
My pride grows stronger.
Okay, Pride Mate. Pride Mate's always a problem. I milled my removal. You love to see it. You love to see it. Diabolic Intent. Okay. We're gonna keep on digging until we find something actually useful. Now, this isn't what I'm looking for. I could play Resurrection, but that doesn't do anything. I don't want to sacrifice my commander. I could play Gary, but that also doesn't matter. I'm kinda low on life. I could play the Crawler, but I only have Mindwrack Demon in the graveyard. That doesn't really do anything. Gonna play Undead Butler. Let's see what I mill. Oh, okay. Forgot about that, not gonna lie. I milled 3 lands, you'll love to see it. Yeah, I'm just gonna play the Crawler. Yes, Sprite Mate is gonna get even bigger, I know. But I don't think there's anything I can do about it right now. I have to accept it. We're not in a good spot here, that's for sure. Gains even more life. Okay, opponent has, you know, as much life as he wants. I think I have to sacrifice my Rutstein so Vraska stays alive and then I can deal with one of the Pride Mates. That seems like the player. What is the Citadel? Would be good, but I don't have enough life to comfortably Citadel at this point. Still don't have anything good in the yard. Okay, the question is, can I win without playing Citadel? I don't think I can win without playing Citadel and hitting something great. I think this is great. The great hench, huh? I mean, it gains me 2 life, but it costs 9. So that just kills me, right? I gain 2 mana. You know what? I mean, I can't do it, right? No, I can't do it. Gonna sacrifice the Undead Butler in hopes there's something better below. Gonna exile it to get a demon. Because why not? Okay. This doesn't help me.
In the tangle, I see.
This doesn't really help me.
A small gift.
Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm just dead, right? There's nothing I can do. Not really.
Patience. We will win.
Not really. At least we can destroy one. But yeah, that's not gonna do it. Ballister Citadel didn't save us. I mean, technically we're not dead, I suppose, but I don't see us winning from this point onwards. But we'll try, It's gonna add a copy. Gonna hold back as a blocker. Wait. He can just ult, exile my card and deal 6 damage and wins. Well, good game, good game. We didn't find what we needed. Oh well. Okay, our next game against Arnhem Puckle, Thousand Moon. That's gonna be creature focused deck, maybe artifacts. Maybe Panharmonican Tribal, we will see. We go first. It's very important. Now this hand doesn't actually do anything until turn 3 where we play our commander. I don't think this is good enough, to be honest. I think I'm gonna go down to 6 because if we draw a mana dog and we go first, we have a very high chance of actually winning. This is probably gonna be a more aggressive commander, so not doing anything till turn 3 seems wrong. I mean, this is still pretty bad, but at least we can do something on turn 2. Maybe scry to find something better. We can return Gary. Gary can go back in the deck. We will find him later with the tutor anyways. If we want to. If we want to, of course. We're gonna play Forbidden Crossroads Black. Gonna scry to hopefully find a better 2-drop. Maybe some removal would be nice for the opposing commander. Opponent plays a Plains. Turn 1 Soul Warden. You hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. Now we could play a Journal or we could play a Halfling. I think a Halfling's better here. Get some ramp out. We don't necessarily need the extra card the next turn. Opponent plays a Mountain. Has removal. Lightning Helix. Yeah, it doesn't actually matter that much. Of course I would have loved to keep my ramp, but we have 3 mana anyway. Can play Rutstein, and honestly, if I can play Rutstein, I'm happy. Immole creature, that's not great. I'd rather Rutstein mill a land so we can get the treasure for ramping purposes, but it's fine, we can sacrifice the creature. Maybe jump block with it later. Opponent plays another Mountain. Reaches. Okay. Surprise Pirate Tribal. Maybe he just plays it so when he attacks with Reaches he can ramp. It's probably more likely. We don't have removal, so we're gonna play a Journal. Draw a card, hopefully draw a land. That would be nice. Okay, we drew a land, so at least we're not land screwed. Now we could Diabolic Intent. Sacrifice the insect. Next turn we have presumably 5 mana. We need to find something, because what we have currently doesn't really cut it. Opponent's gonna go off sooner rather than later. Because if I was a gambling man, I would take Bolas Citadel, hope that we draw a land and mill a land so we can play it. But that would be greedy, right? That would just be greedy. Now we could take a Turtle for ramp, we could take a Revenant to draw. Removal, not necessary, we have some in the hand. So would I rather take a Revenant or Turtle? We're kinda low on cards, right? You know, let's take a Turtle, why not? Let's take a Turtle, it's fine. Well, now that I think about it, maybe a Revenant would have been better, because it could have actually blocked breaches. Yeah, okay. The clock put on the pressure, and I might not have made the right call. Now, of course, I'm gonna be really sad. I'm gonna be really sad if I middle land a draw land, because then I could have taken Citadel. Gonna block the Gnome. Yeah, opponent spot's getting very scary. And also gets to scry whenever... Yeah, oh, okay. I did middle land, but I didn't draw land. So we're just gonna go Turtle Power. And are we gonna sacrifice the treasure to draw and maybe ramp? I think it's worth it. If we draw land, we can play it. Okay, yeah, definitely worth it. So, of course we're kinda screwed. We're kinda screwed because opponent's gonna pop off this turn, create a lot of value, and I don't have a board clear. Opponent discovers Onyx, gains ton of life, bolsters. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. It looks pretty bad. We're not out of the game yet, technically. Basically, yes, but technically not. Opponent only has 2 cards in hand, so if we can deal with the board, we might be able to stabilize. Now the question is, how do we deal with the board? Well, Crux of Fate would be nice, but we're not drawing it. And every other card I have isn't great, to be honest. Now we have 6 mana. Can only make 1 play. We could attack with the Turtles and ramp, but it's a tapped mana anyway, right? Yes. so it doesn't really matter. So we might as well play Sheoldred. And pray that that deters our opponent somewhat. Also gains us life. So next turn, we're still hoping to find something, you know. Palanthea of Orthanc. Okay. He's attacking with Onyx. I might just... Yeah, I'm definitely gonna block with my Tortoise. Yeah, you gain life, you can scry, you can bolster, who cares? I'm gonna block with Sheoldred, Rutstein, and the Tortoise. I know he gets 2 tokens. But now, if we draw a board clear, I'm only 1 board clear away from actually turning this around, okay? I need to draw it, and it's not very likely, I know. But it would be a pretty cool story, right? So we definitely lose a life here. We can't... I mean, opponent knows that I'm gonna choose lose life, so he's gonna keep a very high cost card on top. It's gonna hurt, I know, but we can't afford him to draw. Oh, okay, opponent doesn't know how the Palanthea works. That's always nice to see. Okay, we did draw Dark Ritual. We still don't really have anything else we can do. Gonna sacrifice the treasure and draw land. Perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted. Except it's really not. But we can, if we deal with Einem Pickle, it doesn't really matter because opponent can replay it, right? So we want to deal with breaches. We to extinction the breaches. After we Dark Ritual, okay? We deal with the breaches. Vorinclex we want in the graveyard. That's not gonna help us right now. We can play Journey to Eternity to jump block with Sheoldred. Make sure he doesn't remove it, and if he activates it, then I'm in a good spot. Life total is high enough so I don't necessarily cry. I mean, I'm still crying because he creates a shit ton of tokens. But yeah, I would need to draw a board clear or a tutor effect. I have several tutors. Okay, it only destroys. Perfect, perfect. We made the right choice here. We are now even able to sacrifice our clue token. Gain another 2 life because of Sheoldred. Draw another card. Get closer to a board clear. Surely, right? We have to draw the board clear someday. Okay, very scary, very scary. Activate our clue token, just so we don't... Bolus the Citadel. Now that's... I think it's probably right to block the artifact thingies, but at the end of the day it's not gonna matter. Okay, now it's interesting. I think I'm gonna let the opponent draw, because I actually need my life for Bolus the Citadel. Okay, we mill a Cavalier of Thorns. Opponent gains yet more life. Interesting. Traverse the Ulvenwald, whatever. What is the right play here? Well, probably reanimating Vorinclex, right? That seems pretty good. So that's step number 1. Doubles our remaining mana. Now we might as well sacrifice the token. Hopefully we draw land. I mean, okay, it's my bad. I should have specified untapped land. We can use Traverse to get another land. Play it. And play the demon. Okay, now we're actually in a spot. If our opponent doesn't deal with our board and doesn't kill us, we win next turn. Almost guaranteed. But our opponent still has opportunities to remove our centerpieces, namely Vorinclex. Maybe buff his whole team, go all out attack, and overrun us with some sort of buff effect. Only attacking with tokens, that's a good sign, right? I'm not very scared of that. I'm sure there's some sort of combat trick that could screw me over. I mean, okay, it's still 11 damage coming in. I'm still gonna block with every creature I have. And see what our opponent has in store. Nothing. That's a good sign. We are low on life, don't get me wrong. We are very low on life. Great Door doesn't really do anything. Oh no. Yeah, okay. That's really good. Okay, the Fleece Ram doesn't really matter. He dealt with Sheoldred and he exiled it, so I don't even get to return it. That was important life gain. Do we have Gary in the graveyard? We have Gary in the graveyard. Okay, that's good. We're gonna let the opponent draw a card. We mill. Okay, keep in mind that we have pretty much infinite mana thanks to Vorinclex, so we can go off. We can go off. We can still return Gary after all the shenanigans we do. I mean, we should be able to win at this point. Gonna destroy Commander because he's kind of mana blocked next turn. We have to be careful. Careful not to die. So if I play this, I take 4 damage and then I return Gary, right? That works.
I'm looking for new minions. Care to volunteer?
Okay, we're gonna return Gary and heal for 12. Which is very nice. Okay, I'm gonna deal with the Soul One. I should have done it before, yes, but honestly, the 1 life, it's not gonna make the difference, okay?
You grow weak.
It's not gonna make the difference. Okay, we can sacrifice. Let's sacrifice our supplier. Get more stuff in the graveyard. There's our Crux of Fate. A little bit late to the party. Okay, what would we need to transform this? It doesn't really matter, right? I think if I board clear, I technically win. Yeah. Is it worth the risk? I mean, I don't know. Is it risky? I think opponent concedes if I board clear. I can return all my important cards back to the board. I also have a Bolus of Citadel. So I think this wins us the game. And I can still play the dragon. Now opponent only has 3 mana available, can't play his commander. 4 mana, fair enough, still can't play the commander. I'm definitely gonna let him draw, that's for sure. Can't afford to lose life and I probably would lose the game. Almost definitely, so opponent draws a card. Don't click on the wrong option there, very important. Okay, now we're just gonna have a field day, right? I have to be careful not to actually accidentally kill myself, that's important. We can play Sorin. Our goal is to return...
I bring order
to return
broken.
Gary, right? I can discard the Blooming Marsh, it doesn't really matter. The discard for opponent should hurt him a lot. Good old Liliana discard. Yeah, and that's gonna be it. Our opponent sees the writing on the wall, sees that I can return Gary with my Cave of Eternity, just gain life. I have a Bolus Citadel out, and our opponent has actually absolutely nothing. Well, that was a really cool game. Very long one, but shows you that without Graveyard Hit, you can't really outvalue the Old Rutstein deck. As you could see, the deck was very effective in dealing with a variety of different enemy commanders. It's a ton of fun to play, lots of value, lots of graveyard recursion, and overall just really good. Can only recommend it. That's it for the video, and if you liked it, let me know what commander you'd like to see next, and leave a comment and a like. Thank you for watching.